Just making sure it's working before I do the proper intro. It's always the fun part. Hello and welcome to the Southern Bannermen, episode 20. The podcast brought to you by many different people, including myself, Ben. We have regular host Ryan.
Hello.
And we have the only man in Thrones more hated than I forgot the guy's. I forgot the actor. The singer's name who was in the last episode of Game of Thrones. Ed Sheeran. It's Darren Hazleton.
What up? I'm sexy Joe.
That's a bit harsh.
Yeah, I'm sexy Joe for today.
Darren's alright in person.
He is lovely in person. That is true. He is true.
I wouldn't say not lovely.
No, alright in person, right?
Yeah.
Was that okay in person?
Not the most.
What's on your t-shirt, Darren?
I think it says okay in person.
Okay in person. Yeah, that's the one.
Okay in person. Right. So on tonight's episode, I guess as I'm the only one who can actually see the stream out of the three of us, I probably should say what's on tonight's episode. We're gonna talk a little bit about the new deluxe, sort of, maybe not really, but mostly the new cycle that's coming. We're going to talk a bit about the Cardiff and Bristol Regionals. We have a quick roundup of the battle for Blackwater Bay, and then we have some spoilers, which is the exciting bit, because everyone likes spoilers.
I think it's spoilers, actually.
Spoilers?
If we start with them, I can just leave then, right?
Yeah, sure. So yeah. I should say, guys, Joe unfortunately was meant to make it tonight, but he can't for personal reasons, unfortunately. And obviously Ryan's only here because by the grace of his internet at the moment.
Yeah, I prayed to the gods and yeah. The old gods, that was, not the seven.
Not the seven. Oh, okay. Fair enough. No, they're better in my opinion. So quickly, guys, I guess news. We've had the next cycle announced. The kind of key things from it is Bestow staying for another cycle, which I kind of quite like, because obviously this cycle and the current one cycle out at the same time, so it makes sense to keep keywords together.
Yeah, I think it was Beyond the Wall, right? Had the interview with Danny, where he said they're basically designing the game in two cycle chunks. The first two cycles were just expanding upon the core box, basically, and get people into the game without introducing the new mechanics. And now we've got the two cycles themed around Bestow. And then, hopefully, we get Shadows next.
We've already got Shadows. It's Ambush.
No, Ambush existed in first ed as well as Shadows.
It's just a shame the Fry Tech and Crossing couldn't have been in the same two cycles, but anyway.
Yeah, it's a bit weird how Crossing's going to rotate out before all the Fray stuff does, but yeah, whatever.
And
Nate French, I don't think, was designing any phrase anyway, so...
No, he's cycle 1, right? And then
to
do L5R.
Left us with good designers instead.
Darren says with him currently making the game that Darren loves the most.
Yes.
But yeah, the new thing's based around the 4th book, so Feast of Crows. I think the cycle's called a Flight of Crows?
I believe so, yeah.
Flight of Crows.
Yeah. And the main part of the article was the new reset plot, which is Valor Doharis, which I think is quite interesting. It's basically a slightly modified version of the Pale Mare from the draft ball.
It's a slightly less harsh version of Pale Mare. In that things are discarded, well, sort of discarded, put back to the bottom of your deck, rather than...
I mean, if they're killed, you can, like, close call for card draw, or probably, like,
Ghost
you can ghost them. Yeah, Ghost is a bit of a bigger thing, whereas you can't... there's nothing you can do about these. They're disappearing into...
there's Fisherman.
There's Fisherman, yeah. There's also Never Bet Against My Family.
Yeah. There's a couple of cards.
Stupid Lanny.
But no, I think it's a decent plot. The stats are better than I thought they'd be.
Yeah, the stats are pretty good.
4-5-1. That's pretty good.
6 reserve.
Yep.
It's an omen, so Crass still ignores him.
But does he get to bring the characters back still?
No, because they're not haven't been killed.
Yeah.
And they're at the bottom of the deck, so you can't find them.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I mean, I look at my Tyrell Reigns games I've been having recently, and my God, that deck would wreck me. So that plot would wreck me, completely wreck me.
Lots of 7 and 6 drops.
Yeah, so I think it's going to change the way people have to deck build for at least for a while. Worse in the meta.
What you keep when you got Renly, Marjorie, and Randall out?
Yeah,
it might do for short term, but like people are still going to be running First Snow. So if you go, I'll just play small curve, then you're going to just get hit hard by the other, like the reset at the other end. Like, I don't think it's actually going to be a huge impact. I think it'll have like maybe 2 weeks where it matters, and then
I could see us being a point where you kind of in this kind of the meta flips the reset. So Valor becomes the main one, then maybe this becomes the main one, then maybe First Snow, and you kind of go round.
I don't think this like replaces Valor Magulis at all, because this still lets you save one of your big uniques. Like the whole point of or the best use of Valor is when there's a board of people and you can't deal with those people, you kill them off. I can still save Tywin and the Tickler and a Reducer and then be absolutely fine.
And obviously the characters they aren't dying, there's going into your deck. So as long as you've got a way of shuffling your deck or a way of drawing cards from the bottom, you're still going to get them back. Just quickly as a question from the fans. Yes, this is Darren from El Trollar.
Troll 5R.
Oh, Troll 5R, whatever. Same
Troll 5R.
I've not listened to
It's like Troller, right?
Yeah, Troller.
Well, it's like because Troll ends with an L and then L5R starts with an L, so it was a super clever name that everyone hated.
Super cool.
So, just before we move on, we just had another quick question. If you guys could make a keyword, what would you call it, and what would it do?
Oh.
I'd bring back Deadly.
Well, you haven't really made a keyword then, have you? You've just picked a keyword.
Fine, I'd make a keyword called really hard killy guy, and you just kill someone in the challenge when you win.
You didn't have to win for Deadly.
Oh, didn't you?
Didn't.
Oh God.
No.
I don't know. Make a keyword. That's a tough one, really. I might have to come back to that one, Paul.
I would do something weird. It'd be like an anti-ambush. So, like, I don't know what you call it, like retreat or something. But you can, like, it'd have to be during a specific phase, probably during taxation or dominance or something. You can just return the character to your hand. I think you could do some really cool design stuff that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that'd be quite cool actually.
It may be biased on like enjoying Orphan of the Greenblood at the moment, but I think it's really cool to just sort of run away with no additional effect other than I just left play. But you could put some interesting effects on them leaving play and stuff as well. So.
Well, yeah, obviously, I mean, it gives you lots of stuff to trigger off that. There's obviously uses around resets, and obviously having characters to keep coming out. Like, can you imagine that on a R'hllor character? Just pop it in at the end of the turn, bring it back, pop it in, bring it back. Which I have done with the Greenblood, in all fairness. Not Greenblood.
Yeah.
The Orphan, sorry. Yeah.
I think. Yeah, you'd balance it based on keywords and leaving play effects and stuff. But I think it'd be quite an interesting one.
Yeah. Ryan, any ideas?
Maybe a sort of keyword where, like, the person in the challenge, whatever challenge they win, they could change the claim.
Ooh.
So if they've got this certain keyword, I don't know, some expertise keyword, and they win a military, they can change the claim to intrigue or power.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, that's some good idea. And that could lead to some quite interesting design areas.
Yeah,
I would love to do 3 power challenges a turn.
Oh yeah, that'd be sweet.
Yeah, never done that with Tyrell at all.
Yeah. All right. I think George had a deck that could do like 13 challenges in one turn. So.
Classic George.
Paul's come up with one called Scheming. If a character wins a challenge by 5, draw 4 cards. Or basically just draw some cards, but more than 1 card. So it's like better than Insight. Could be. I think that's one I need to go away and have
Insight.
Yeah, I think that's one I need to go away and have a think about. Might try and remember to bring it up for the next episode. But anything about the new cycle before we move on?
Yeah. I think the most important part is in this like little last paragraph on their article.
What, dark wings, dark words?
Dark wings are spreading over the realm of Westeros.
Please bring that agenda back.
We getting dark wings back?
If we get that agenda of that new, was it the new Queen of Thorns?
Oh yeah.
Oh Jesus!
God, that'd just be bonkers good. I'm going to discard this event and find the event I actually want in this deck. Oh, okay. Yeah, that'd be pretty good. Yeah. I think that's a fair shout that we could be getting it. They seem to be doing two agendas a cycle, so maybe.
They've already announced the agenda for. Well, was it? We got the Brotherhood one, right, and then we get the Maester one.
Yeah, the Maester one's in the Tyrell box.
The third cycle, yeah.
Where's the Brotherhood one?
Brotherhood's in the last pack.
Yeah.
This cycle, yeah. This fourth cycle, isn't it? Yeah.
Pack 6, along with what's his face? All the kiss tokens.
Beric.
Oh,
yeah, Beric.
Yeah, so I can see Darkwings definitely being in next cycle, hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that'd be quite a cool one, especially to keep the big deck size, but all those events. I imagine Tyrell would be loving that one.
Yeah, it'll go really well in Tyrell. Obviously, that new Queen of Thorns, Paxter, all their filter one-off events would be great.
Especially that once the deluxe is out, you got the Tower, which every time you play a card, draw another card. They would be drawing for their decks so fast that I think that'd be really cool.
I want to know what that Night's Watch song in the preview article does.
Oh yeah, the art's really weird for that. I'm really intrigued.
I just noticed the face on the pie.
Yeah. But just quickly about
the rat. That's the rat cook, right?
Yeah.
How many people misread that when they first looked at it?
Yes. But it's quite exciting. The Tyrell box I'm really up for, and this new cycle I'm quite glad they're doubling down on Bestow. And by the sounds of it from the White Book, they're going to be a bit more. No, so Beyond the Wall wasn't, sorry. They're going to be a bit more aggressive with how they're using Bestow, because I think so far, personally, and this is a topic for another time, probably only about a third of the Bestow cards are actually any good, and the other 2/3 are kind of a bit meh.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's just their design problem. Is they can't undercost the cards. They've costed the cards correctly or slightly overcosted them if you just didn't bestow them.
Yeah,
and then if you bestow them, that most of them, not all of them, most of them are still just overcosted if you bestow them. So
yeah, I mean, you got stuff like Silence's Crew's really good because even if you don't bestow them, there's chances are they can gain it later on. Obviously, Astapor's really good, but some of the ones where you're discarding the gold, they just seem not to be worth it very quickly. In my opinion, I don't know. That's the way I've been finding it anyway. Not all of them. Some of them, like the Orphan's, really good still. But
Old Town Informer is amazing.
That is really good. That is really good. Just quickly before we move on, scheming was to look at the top 5 cards you deck and then rearrange them.
Okay, that's better. I like that.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty cool one, Paul. Okay, cool. So, all good? Go on to Bristol?
Yeah.
So we had the Bristol Regional, which feels like ages ago now, and actually it was only about, 12 days ago. Really good event. Was it almost 60 players in the end?
59.
Yeah. Which for a regional, that's pretty big. I don't know if there's been bigger than that, but it seems for just a regional event seems pretty awesome.
It's bigger than US Nationals.
There's issues around US Nationals. I mean, when you think Gen Con has...
Don't bring that argument up again, Darren.
Yeah.
I know America's big and all that jazz.
But yeah, it's... I mean, obviously, pretty cool event. Getting people from around Europe as well. What were you guys running on the day?
Darren?
What was I? Oh yeah, I was running Lanny Reigns. But I was running Lanny Reigns with the good Tywin, the 5-cost one. Tyrion's Chain, 2 heads on spikes, new Cersei without his beard, a bunch of pillage stuff.
So it didn't have the best kill spell in the game?
It did. It ran some number of them. I think it was 2 of them in the end. Nice. I don't remember. Yeah, it had 2 of the best kill spell, but it ran, all the good cards like Tyrion's chain and heads on spikes and without his beard.
About reinforcements, you can copy that with.
It didn't. No, that would be a good card.
Yeah.
But no, so it's a really fun deck. I actually, like, in testing, it was doing as good as any traditional Lanny Reigns, so I thought I'll go have some fun.
Having seen it in action and and I think played against it once or twice, it is quite fun, and it's something I'd like to actually try to put together at some point. Just doing an intrigue and then flipping into also just playing the chains to do another heads on spikes mid challenge really catches people out.
It's it can actually, like, entirely luck based, but it can be really, really brutal. Like, if you get Cersei out turn 1 and you start with, like, Late Summer Feast, so they draw a bunch of cards, and then flip into heads on spikes, hit the heads on spikes, trigger Tyrion's chain, follow up turn, second heads on spikes, Tyrion's chain again. Like, you can win the game without them having, like, you just remove their hand in 2 turns and then win the game turn 3 anyway.
Yeah.
I think I gained 9 power just from heads on spikes in one game. So
yeah, new Cersei's pretty. I love it. Whenever I get her out, I always feel like I'm in a strong position. Ryan, you were on.
I was on Barra Kraken.
And how much testing you done for this deck?
I had played one game on the Friday beforehand against a friend at work who only ever plays with me on Friday lunchtimes and doesn't own any cards, doesn't really understand the game that well. Bless him. So yeah, not the most practice, not the most testing. But turns out it was a pretty decent deck.
I'd say
went well on the day. So it was your usual control package with all the real stuff and to deliver characters and the Greyjoy stuff to deal with locations. But the main bit that made it interesting, I guess, was it ran free support the people and one of all of the locations. Just a toolbox, what you need at the time. So if you think about those coming, go and grab some Iron Mines or Spears of the Merlin King. There are 3 copies of each, so you could survive multiple resets. Go and grab the other half of the Dominance package. If you've already seen the Iron Throne, go grab Table or the Armory, got more draw. And yeah, it was just pretty solid. It had ways of dealing with basically every matchup. So it was good fun to play.
Yeah, I'd say I'm looking forward to actually getting some games of it soon. It does look like a pretty fun deck. I love the toolboxy element of support the people in it.
Mm-hmm.
It'll make for a more fun lunchtime stream than Night's Watch Builders, mate.
Yeah, I know. I was on Night's Watch Winters today.
Totally true.
I noticed.
Yeah, I know. We played, obviously.
I took it to the final. Lost against the Wombo Combo Viper deck, sadly. Only got to 13 power before 104 Strength Intrigue Challenge happened.
Which, just to answer the question here, we've had a question, what was the most surprising deck of the day? And I think it was the Hyper Viper deck, really. I don't know.
Yeah, that was surprising, because it had already been posted online, right? It was net decked, and Paris it had won?
It didn't win it top Swiss.
It was top Swiss, then lost the first game, and Joel had tweaked it a bit. But also, I mean, I completely missed it on Thrones DB. So for me, just seeing also the deck, which just seemed to kind of make no sense, and all of a sudden just pull the win together. And I've actually also tried the deck, and it's not as straightforward to use as you think it would be.
No, you got to make a lot of tough choices when you're filtering.
Yeah, really tough choices. And also, there's a few plots which I didn't think would screw me over. One of them being my opponent played Annual's Cost back on turn 2, which then meant I couldn't discard my events. Because they hit the discard pile, they are removed from the game. So when it came to taxation, I was like, oh, great. And I think I'd valid that turn to clear his board. So my reserve was pretty low. So yeah, there's a few really nuances to it. But any other surprise decks, do you think? There was someone playing Targ Reigns who immediately gets a thumbs up from me.
Yeah, I don't think Targ Reigns is amazingly surprising. I don't think it does much for Targ, but people are doing it.
Not that many.
Ben's obsessed with it.
I am. It's going to be a thing. I don't know. I'm slowly getting off it.
It works, but I just don't like. I don't think Reigns adds anything to it.
Especially not when we get onto the spoilers. I think once the next pack's out, I don't think it's as most of the uses for it kind of go.
Oh, I'm never playing Reigns again, but
okay.
I need my faction card meal for much better things.
Darren, did you make the cut? I can't quite remember.
No, I went so because there were 59 people, I went 4-2, which placed me 17th when we were cutting to top 8. I think 1-4-2 made the cut.
Yeah.
Which fair. Like I went 4-2. I think that's fine. I think they should have either had another round of Swiss or cut top 16. But I think Liam followed FFG's suggested tournament, so it's not a big deal.
I also think he was probably running a bit of tight on time from the sounds of it as well. If he'd had another round.
Yeah, probably. I mean, ultimately, like every time I've missed the cut on strength of schedule so many times. Like last year's regional season, I missed the cut on strength of schedule at every regional I went to, and the answer is always, well, lose one less game then. So,
yeah. No, yeah. I was in the same boat. I went 4-2. I mean, I did have the worst strength of schedule of every 4-2. So, you know, I knew game before we went to the last game. I had no chance. But yeah, I mean, I was playing Tyrell Reigns, and I really liked that deck so much. I played it the next day. I wasn't meant to. Anything else to talk about Bristol? Obviously, Liam did a good job, as he always does. His extra prize support was awesome.
As an event, it was great. The room was lovely, nice and air conditioned, easy to get to, easy to park. That's a weird review of a hotel, to be honest. But no, it was it was actually I thought it was run really well.
I think the stream went really well as well. That was run amazingly.
I didn't see that, to be honest.
You were there, of course you did. But overall, I mean, Joel. I think Joel, though, just to say, he was even quite surprised. He did so well. He thought he'd go 3-3, and he was actually targeting Cardiff as the regional he was going to try and do well at.
So, yeah, I'm not sure why.
He lost one game, didn't he?
Yeah,
just lost round 1 against George, and that was it.
And that's partly because he said George saw the wall on turn 1, and also George had played against the deck a few times in practice and knew what to do. So if that happens,
I think a lot of the people he'd have faced by about halfway through the tournament knew what the deck was and knew what to do. It's just I don't think Joel thought it was as good as it actually is.
No,
he was saying ahead of time, oh yeah, I'm just gonna have fun, not gonna do very well. Because I was trying to tell him ahead of the tournament, you're gonna that's a really good deck, but he was having none of it.
It's yeah, I mean, it was on the stream, especially on the final, and I was concentrating a lot more on the chat. There's a couple of guys who were, because obviously we were all quite around enjoying it, and there was a bit of a party atmosphere, and they were saying this really inconsiderate in a final, and they might have a point, but at the same time, we kind of know what the deck does. At that point, there is no surprises. You're just kind of getting up to just one turn.
I think that's a problem if Joel or Ryan decide it's a problem.
Yeah.
If the finalists, if the two people out there playing are quite happy with the louder, more casual atmosphere, then I don't see what the problem is. If Ryan had turned around and gone, guys, I'm trying to concentrate, shut up.
Yeah.
Then everyone should shut up. But otherwise, I don't think it's a big deal.
No, that's fair. I assume, Ryan, you didn't seem to have a problem. You seem to be kind of joining in some respects.
Yeah, it's one of those matches, right, where it's sort of the feeling of inevitability. If you don't see your pieces to stop the combo, there's not much you can do. So you keep drawing until it gets to that point and see what happens.
That turn after he discarded your first Mel, and then he
much more than another Mel away. Oh.
Yeah, you could
my heart broke.
You could just see the look on your face, and you could see that was probably my real chance to get back into this and make sure I win it. But yeah. I mean, guys, I say next year. I dare say Bristol's going to get another regional next year because Liam does a good job. If you can only you can only go to one, that's probably the one to go to. And that's no disrespect to everyone else. Everyone else does a good job. Liam just that little notch above. There's a reason why he runs nationals and ran Euros.
I think a part of it's self-fulfilling as well. Liam ran a pretty good regional with good feedback last year.
Yeah.
He ran nationals with pretty good feedback last year. He TO'd Euros with pretty good feedback. So at that point, you say loads of people are going to go to it, so more people go because they say, everyone's going to it, and then it sort of perpetuates and grows like that. So,
which, unlike Cardiff, which was a lovely regional, but had 26 players?
28, I think it was.
I think in 26.
I've got the Justin Pavilion up.
I want to say 26 the people were at Bristol the day before.
Yeah.
Now,
it was mostly Bristol, yeah.
no, it's a lovely venue. I love Firestorm Games as a venue. It's been there for many other games. It's a lovely venue. The staff are lovely. Argue could have had a few more players. 28's a bit.
If he'd have got, if they'd have got their act together sooner in arranging it, they probably could have. There's some issues with that, which he did after the regional admit that he'd been in the wrong in several things he'd done or thought, and would be looking to Liam a bit more for future events. So
No.
I think he's taken on board some of the issues that he had, which
that's great. I mean, if you can stand up and go, yeah, look, guys, I made a mistake. Next year would be more on board. And if they both do get regionals next year, and they can start promoting this like weekender ahead of time, more people will probably get time off to do both.
Yeah, so. I think Andy's also seen that they'll actually get people to their regional now as well, because 28 is more than he thought was going to show up in the first place. So.
Yeah, I got that feeling, and it was quite reasonably priced. Was it only $750? I want to say.
Yeah, it was like half of every other regional.
Yeah,
which is fine, and they still started throwing in spot prizes and things, which is cool.
Yeah, it was loads of spot. Every round had a spot prize, which they didn't have any alt arts, whereas Liam had done loads of alt art house cards and alt art plot. And also, if you didn't make the cut, you could take part in a melee, and if you won your table, you got a Brienne and as many Summoners of Courts as you wanted.
yeah. There were a bunch of like broken egg token packs and stuff given out, which is cool.
Yeah, and with quite cool things like okay, here's a Lannister one. Whoever kills Tywin this round gets them, which is kind of cool. I mean, maybe not regional. I don't know because. Yeah.
Well, it's extra prizes. I have no issue with. I think that's a more interesting way of doing it because it stops the prizes all just being top heavy.
Yeah, that's true. It does definitely give everyone a chance to get them. But yeah, I mean, overall, a great event. 5 rounds of Swiss. I was a complete tryhard and used my buy because if you're going to use your buy, you want to do it at the smallest regional you can.
Still didn't win though, did you?
No, but I did my objective. I've got my play mat, so I could play Targaryen to the next one. But yeah, just quick on this one. I took Tyrell Reigns again. Obviously had the buy in the first round, and that really helped me because then I played no one with a losing record. So when it came to strength for schedule, my strength for schedule was ridiculous. I think Darren, you did it the hard way, didn't you?
I do. I didn't win a store championship, so every regional's the hard way for me this year. But yeah, I made the cut with my own Martell Kraken, which has Captain's Daughters in, which are the best Greyjoy card in the game.
And also great ward targets, I hear.
Of all the rounds, I can't believe that's the one that got videoed. That was just the worst day, or the worst round I think I've ever had with that deck. So
the best bit being when the first one got warded, and then did he march it?
No, he actually used the first one to bounce my Ariane, which I accepted. I was like, well, I've got to play into it sometime. But he's used a ward. I'm probably fine. Immediately throw out another Captain's Daughter. Oh no, I'd already played a Captain's Daughter. He didn't Captain's Daughter my daughter. I played Ariane and got my daughter fired away. And I was like, hope he doesn't have another ward. And his first part of his marshalling was to ward the second Captain's Daughter, which is like, for me, that was basically game. Like, I can't do anything at that point. So.
No, I don't think there's anything. There's nothing you did wrong watching the video back. It was just one of those games where he just had the right combo cards and played it right.
I didn't run Confiscation. I think that was what I did wrong.
That's possibly, yeah. That is possibly one. And it was your Martell Kraken, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, again, cool event. My favourite highlight of this event though has to be Dan Kay, because he was started drinking before the event even started, because that's how serious he was taking it. And obviously, I don't know if people know, but the previous day he'd built a deck to take on the Builder's deck, to take on all these other meta decks, and he cashed in his buy and tried really hard, and he did pretty well. I think he made the semi-finals. Top 4?
He made top 4.
Yeah, he lost the job.
Yeah, so he took top 4. So he did really well. He was really happy. So he said, like, today I'm just taking Greyjoy Crossing. I'm going on easy mode. I'm just going to switch off my brain, nil some cards, and we'll see how it goes. So, of course, he won the whole bloody thing with just kneeling cards.
I think the fact that he wasn't trying super hard is actually a big way towards that. Like, he was just having fun, so he was relaxed. He wasn't putting loads of pressure on himself. So just like he was. I mean, he only lost one game all day.
Yes, which he lost to. Was it
Tagore?
Tagore, that was it. Yeah, and he was even complaining about half his cards because he put in the the new econ location and then realised he had no pillage deck.
Yeah, it was just the most useless location.
He's like, Rose Raid would be better than this, damn it. Oh no, I think you said sort of for King's Raid who did it again. But yeah, obviously, and obviously Dan's just such a character. He's quite fun to be around. He did knock me out in the semis, annoyingly, but I cocked up. Many decks difference between the two. Well, I think actually a lot of people were taking took different decks both days, didn't they?
Yeah, most people actually changed decks. Kev didn't change decks. He just took a neutral card out, so he had a legal deck for Cardiff.
Nothing like getting disqualified when you just make the cut.
But yeah, scrolling down, I think most people swapped decks. There were a couple of people who didn't. Like most of the main players swapped decks. I think Liam Sewell kept the same deck, but like he's playing the most inconsistent Lannister deck I've ever seen. Like he makes a cut at an event and then just scrubs out at the next one, and then cuts and then scrubs out. Like otherwise everyone else I think swapped.
I say I didn't, but that's only because I was going to use Joe's Night's Watch Reigns deck, and then he decided he wanted to use it. So I thought I'd really enjoy the Tyrell Reigns. I thought I'd keep on using the same deck. But I think otherwise, Joel was on.
Tyrell Reigns is pretty good.
Tyrell Reigns is pretty good. It's all right. But overall, it was a good event. Obviously, not as good as Bristol, so kind of jaded a little bit. But overall, it was a good event. No lunch break was interesting.
Yeah. Well, he started at 11:30.
Yeah, a little bit late.
Which, when you've got to run 5 rounds, cut to top 8, it went pretty late anyway, or late for the store on a Sunday. But yeah, I think maybe he didn't, because he didn't expect so many people. He expected to do like one less round of Swiss and probably one less cup round as well. So
yeah, I mean it helped. Again, all of us were at the bar. We just quickly grabbed lunch during the first round, which helped. But otherwise, if your games were running long.
They serve hot food there anyway, so it wasn't a big deal. I finished a game in 20 minutes, somewhere around 1 or 2 o'clock, so I went and got food then. Just
a little tip, if anyone does go to Cardiff, Firestorm Games, all the food comes with chips, because Tagore didn't realise this, so he ordered burgers and like not fish fingers, whatever it was, chicken something, because he thought he was just getting that, and then these 2 massive piles of chips came with them, and he felt a bit greedy. So
he is a bit greedy.
A little bit greedy. But over any other things on Cardiff before we move on? Just
I wasn't there.
No. Ryan wasn't there. That's why we all had a chance.
I mean, the final was the final had a similar sort of friendly feel to the previous to Bristol, where everyone was sat around joking and stuff alongside the players. So.
The other thing I should say is obviously talking about Ryan's deck, which he had played one test game against the guy I didn't know he was doing. Tagore took that. King of Swiss and got knocked out in the top 4 as well. So the deck did well 2 days in a row.
Yep.
Apparently, running 6 1-cost saves is not awful.
Really? You sure?
Yeah. Especially when no one's running political disaster.
Yes. Yeah. I think they are now.
Yeah, I still don't think they will be. But
okay. Well, you were when we go on to Blackwater. So, in case anyone's wondering, the reason Darren's on is because he did quite alright at Blackwater. Did you?
I am the champion.
Now, obviously, you guys need to explain how you guys made your brilliant deck choices for the weekend.
You want to go, Ryan? All right, okay. So, ahead of the tournament, we'd had discussion. Like, we had 6 of us staying in Airbnb, and ahead of the tournament, we'd had discussion that, like a day or two before, we should all just like no one's taking it seriously. No one was really expecting to do well at all. So like, oh yeah, we'll just chuck all our decks together and swap decks and just randomize what deck we get out of each other. Three of them, Ben, Simon, and Tupac were immediately up for that, and Ryan and Dan were a little bit cagey. So I said, look, I'm taking a deck to try a bit hard. I'm taking Joe Miranda's Lanny Reigns, but fixed to make it not shit. And I was like, I don't really, I still want to win because I forgot to buy my Starlek ticket when I'd had it reserved, which means I don't have a Starlek ticket. So I was like, this is my chance to get entry to Starlek. I can do it here. So I said I'll join in if everyone else does. Dan and Ryan held back a bit, and I think on the morning, Ryan agreed to, right? On Saturday morning,
Yep.
You changed your mind?
Yep. I was happy to do it.
Dan still refused, and then just before they decided to randomize it, I lost all faith in my ability to do well at any tournament ever and said, yeah, fuck it, I'll join in. So we randomized some decks, and I got Ben Fox's Tyrell Reigns. Simon, the kit, king of Jank as much as George is. Simon only plays Jank, only plays interesting decks. Got that bog standard, super refined Lanny Reigns deck.
Poor Simon. He was so sad all day playing it.
Yeah, I think he won his first 2 rounds, then decided he wasn't going to play the deck anymore and conceded every other game until he got to the last round where George told him not to concede.
Oh yeah, George was out for what's it, the Santa surprise, wasn't he?
Yeah. Oh no, he went 1-1, and then he said, "I'm not playing this deck." The deck just it's boring. Lanny Reigns. You turn Gregor sideways, or you turn Tyrion sideways. Like it's not interesting to play. There's nothing surprising in the deck. So I basically accidentally ruined Simon's entire weekend.
Oh, so this wasn't the one you took to Bristol. This was
This was so Bristol was a fun Lanny Reigns deck. This one was just not.
Right. Yeah.
It was literally, Tears, Gregor, Core Tywin, Core Tyrion, the Hound, like
the good stuff
nothing.
Deck.
Yeah. And ruined his weekend for it.
Well done, Darren.
Ryan,
I was going to say, when you're struggling to find somewhere to stay next year, you know why. Simon's had his way.
Yeah, I think Ryan got a good deck, right, Ryan?
Yeah, I got Tupac Castro's Night's Watch Crossing, which was basically Gabriel Rana's Night's Watch Crossing from Euros. He changed a couple of cards, put in the new limited cards, but that was about it.
That's the one that was King of Swiss at Euros, wasn't it?
Yeah, the core Jon Snow deck.
Yeah, that was such a nice deck to see in action.
It's really fun to play.
I got to see it at Blackwater.
Yeah.
I played against it at Euros. That was my round 6 game. I'm quite glad I had already made the cut at that point because, you dear God, he was pretty good with it. But yeah, so obviously, how did your event go in a kind of? Because I kind of kept up with Jousting Pavilion, but also I think I was working technically, so it was quite hard to actually keep up properly.
I think Ryan should go first.
Sure. So did pretty well. Went 6-1. Was it 7 rounds? I can't remember.
Yeah, you beat me in the last round of Swiss.
Yeah. So 7 rounds. I went 6-1. Pretty happy considering, what we've done with our spicy deck swap. And really enjoyed the deck. It's really fun to play. Lost to a Targ Rose deck. Where the one game where I went off of my plot order and it screwed me entirely. My opening hand was so bad that I opened with coppers.
Right.
Whereas the rest of the day I'd been going trading, coppers, Winter Festival, and winning. This one I went coppers trading, it's my first 2. And of course he riddled harvest.
Right. So he got all the card draw and the money and then got even more money.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a good start.
That's the one game all day where I didn't follow the pattern. But my hand was so bad I felt I needed the cards.
Was that David Comerford?
Yeah.
Was that the guy playing Breaker of Chains?
Indeed. So he just splurged out so many stuff. And there's obviously no reset in this Night's Watch Crossing deck, so...
I do love the fact that card's actually becoming a bit of a thing, because it kind of feels a bit janky, but at the same time it is kind of good.
Yeah, reset. It falls over to resets, I think. It's not...
A little bit. Great
it's a decent card. But...
It's great on the first no turn.
I mean, it's fine, right? It's cost you 2, right? So you put 1/2 coster and it's paid for itself, and it's already... It gives you plus strength as well, right?
Plus 1, I think.
Strength.
Yeah.
Yeah, plus 1 strength for every 2 cost or lower character.
Oh,
yeah,
there you go.
Fine.
Yeah.
So a couple of reducer chuds, and it's 2 strength anyway. So.
They've got they've got some more 2 costers coming in the rest of the cycle as well that have been semi spoiled in the background of articles.
Yeah, they got plenty. They got Jorah, Handmaiden, Viserion,
the dragon, Viserion.
He had left and right in his deck.
So that's the one game. What did you struggle against any other decks you end up beating, or was it just all the other decks just went to plan?
Yeah, all the other matchups were pretty fine, to be honest. I mean, I played Darren in the last round of Swiss.
That was awful, that game.
And yeah, he had a very bad time there.
I think I drew characters until turn 2, and then I managed to hold off the rush for like 4 more turns, but I just didn't draw characters in all those turns. So
just kept sitting there on like 8 gold every turn, chucking down on a few informers with all the bestow on them just for the sake of it.
Just a quick question from the audience: how do you define the meaning of jank?
I've always thought of it as cards that look bad actually doing something like good. So
or interesting, doing something interesting.
Good or interesting. Yeah, like bad cards that are just bad. That's not jank. That's just bad. But yeah, like stuff you just don't expect to see. So surprise things can be a little bit janky sometimes, as long as it's actually not a card you would have expected to see. So, like that Breaker of Chains, it will become not jank if it actually carries on proving pretty good. But at the moment, it just still feels a little bit janky.
Niche, right?
Niche.
Yeah. Niche probably is a good term for a lot of them.
The other way I look at it as well is sometimes. What is it? It's where like a few cards together, when you're getting them together, they make a brilliant combo, but it's not always that consistent getting it together. I think that can be jank as well. Maybe. I don't know.
I think it's a bit like it's a term that's used quite vaguely, I think. But I think bad cards that do something good, so like surprise something good, tends to be a good use of it.
Yeah, stick with niche. I think it's good.
I'd say Jess in the chat agrees with you.
Cool.
Thanks, chat. I don't know why. Like I thumbs up. I don't know who I'm thumbsing up to. No one can see me.
So we've also had someone here putting that, and I think you'll be able to talk about this in a minute, Darren. How good Old Town Informant is, because it's a card which I think because some people don't realise how good it really is, especially in Reigns.
So I found out how good it was that morning because I'd never seen my deck before that morning, obviously. I actually didn't know the deck list until Saturday night when I asked Ben to send me the deck list over Facebook, because he handed me like a folded paper deck list, so I just chucked that to Bamford. Didn't check that the deck actually matched the list or anything, had a quick flick through and was like, yeah, this seems fine. But yeah, I found out it triggers on range plots, and then I went, "Oh shit, those come into play."
Yeah.
And then I sat down and went, "Wait, what else does it trigger on?" And someone said, "Oh, anything." So
Risen from the Sea comes as an attachment.
Risen from the Sea, yeah, is an attachment. Ambush attachments, any ambush character. Your opponent's range plots. There's no limit on that thing. You just keep. I could have triggered it, I think, like 7 times in one phase if I ever remembered to trigger it. But
yeah, it's It's a pretty good filter card.
Yes.
Yes,
it's pretty garbage when you have no cards in hand. That's the only problem.
Yes, because you draw the card, you have to. Well, you don't have to draw the card, but yeah, if you draw the card, you immediately discard it. It's also not very good if Queen Cersei's on the board.
I mean, depends. She might be firing off 3 a turn anyway.
Maybe.
I never saw her, so who cares?
So I assume that you went 5-2 in the Swiss then, Darren, as you lost to Ryan in the last round.
I did. I'd also should point out that Dan, although Dan was the only one who didn't go in with the deck swap, Dan went 5-2, Ryan went 5-2, I went 5-2, Ryan went 6-1, not 5-2, and Tupac and Ben Fox, who were the other deck swaps, were the highest strength of schedule 4 and 3s. Like they both lost their last round, but otherwise, like, they were both on course to also make the cut, having swapped decks. It's pretty great.
So what you're trying to say is it's the player, not the deck.
Yeah, sure. That's the credit I'm going to take. Although I can't really do that. I did go 5-2, but the deck carried me through, at least through Saturday. Like, I made a lot of mistakes, and the deck was really forgiving. Like, I think I managed to count that I know for a fact I missed something like 17 Old Town Informer triggers. Those are the ones I remembered to count. I made mistakes in quite a lot of places, but the deck was pretty good. Ben Fox net decked it from some Italian guy, so credit to Alessandro or something.
Is it Vasta? Alessandro Vasta? Something like that?
I don't know. I linked credit to his original deck on my report. That's as far as I go.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I went 5-2. I didn't mind in the last round losing to Ryan because we were definitely going to cut at that point. So
yeah, it takes a lot of pressure off because once you're in the cut, I sometimes think seeding doesn't necessarily make that much of a difference. It's just you've got to be in it. You've probably got to play the good players anyway. So just get the cut and see what happens.
Well, there were 2 Night's Watch Summer decks going in, so I was
trying to avoid them.
I was sort of hoping I wouldn't face them for a while, but
yeah, that's fair. No, such a horrible deck. So the top 16. Obviously, we're sure to say Joe also made the top 16.
Oh, Joe did, but he's not here, so I don't think it matters.
Yeah.
And he was using a variant of, I want to say, of your Barrow Kraken.
He was using my Barrow Kraken. Yep.
I think he tweaked it a bit, but not massively. I think it was still pretty much the same. The core was the same.
Did pretty well, to be honest, over the last 2 weekends.
Yeah. Ben Fox was playing Ryan's Barrow Kraken list as well when he went 4-3. So
yeah.
Okay, so obviously the top 16 was on the Saturday night, isn't it? For Blackwater.
Yes. Yeah.
And who did you guys play? And just quickly sum up how it went.
My game was over instantly, basically. So I played against Isian, who was Greyjoy Reigns.
Yep.
And I saw no icon distribution, no gold, no big characters. So I had like all the sort of weenie Night's Watch guys with miniature icons, and that was it. And he got to about 6-7 power turn 1, when Rise the Kraken turn 2, and I shook his hand because I did the maths, he was going to win.
Well, so you had a similar thing to happen to you at Starluck? In the cup? Or
not as bad as the draw on that one, but yeah, it's more just not seeing any way of blocking any challenges and going against the Greyjoy deck that can obviously rush really quickly.
Yeah.
Not really much I could do there.
So did you do, just quick, did you do melee or did you do the legacy draft on the...
on the Sunday I played in the legacy draft, yeah.
Did you win that?
No. I thought I drafted a good deck. I drafted a Barrow deck, and then I realised that Dave Bamford sat next to me had also been drafting Barrow and had stolen more of the good Barrow cards than I actually had. So,
right, yeah.
Okay. It was almost a good deck. But I beat Tupac, so I won one game.
Got you.
Yeah, suck it, Tupac.
Yeah.
So Darren, your top 16?
I played against, I believe it's a Polish guy who was playing Stark Fealty. Kudzlin?
Right.
Ryan, is that right? You know foreign people.
Yeah, Kudzlin was one of the TOs. Yeah.
All right.
Is he not French? Is he not French though?
I got told he was Polish by someone else, but he could well be French. He was wearing a yellow T-shirt.
Yeah. He always judges at these events, so he judges the Starlink as well.
That event was sort of. I was playing Reigns. He's playing Stark Fealty, so it should be a bad matchup. He didn't see Catelyn all game. He saw Winterfell. I think he finally got it turn 4. At which point, I already had a bunch of renowned guys in play. I'd triggered Reigns twice. I'd triggered Queen of Thorns once. I'd triggered Randall multiple times. I'd triggered Old Town Informants multiple times. At that point, I was just. By the time he got Winterfell, it didn't matter that he could block triggers for one challenge.
Yeah.
And then the following turn, I first snowed and then just went through it anyway. So he had a really bad draw. I flipped Political Disaster actually at one point, and he'd had really bad economy all the way up to there, and he'd finally got a few economy locations out alongside his Winterfell. I flipped Political Disaster. I saw him just look at it, and his face just dropped. That was an interesting face to see. I remember that one for a while. But yeah, his draw screwed him, I think, on that game.
Okay, so top 8?
Top 8. I faced the that Night's Watch Kings of Summers deck, Builders, which my deck has all the tools to deal with. And I think after I'd first snowed, so I did turn 3 Varys, turn 4 Valor, turn 5 first snow. At the end of that turn, my Builder's opponent was 13-0 up. and everyone who had been watching and rooting for me walked away. I had my head in my hands most of that turn, the previous turn. I was like, I'm just totally out of this game. I didn't win a challenge. Turn 1, I knocked the wall over, and I didn't win a single challenge after turn 1. I tried to initiate challenges. I couldn't block his power challenges coming back. I just bombed down. So I did the old, I'll put no power on my house card, so at least there's no reason for him to attack me. So I went down to 13-0 after my first snow. Then I Political Disastered, at which point he'd riddled. So to be fair, his only duped location was the wall, but he did have multiple haunted forests, 2 abandoned strongholds, Brandon's gift, other economy and stuff. So the wall lost its dupe, and he kept the wall and the haunted forest and killed off Brandon's gift, which meant he had no economy left to repopulate his board. So I got a couple of guys down. I got better guys down because I had the Arbor and other stuff going on. He couldn't win a power challenge at me, and I was able to knock the wall over and win some power challenges. I rushed through that turn as fast as I could so I could go into the turn 8 first snow again, because he only had 3 costers in play.
Right.
Yeah. So rushed through that turn as fast as we could, and as we were sat in the plot phase, so I'd already picked first snow, and my opponent was deciding, time was called. I was like, I'm so glad we managed to blitz through to there, because I was still behind about 6-7 power, something like that, and I won on that first snow turn.
Well done.
Hit a clear 15 on that turn.
Well played.
Because I dropped a ton of renowned guys that he couldn't do anything about. But yeah, that was the hardest game I played. At 13-0 down against Night's Watch Summer with an empty board, you shouldn't be. No. Or I think I had 2 carrots on board or something. You should have lost that game then.
You're getting your stuff ready to put in your deck box and work out what you're going to do for the rest of the day.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I had my head in my hands trying to think and do maths and stuff. But all my friends had left me; they just abandoned me and gone, "Well, Darren's lost that," and buggered off. But I did say that morning, if I manage to beat the Builders, then I'm going to win the event. Then I faced Costas's Targros in the top 4, and that was a bit of a it was really grueling game, but time seemed to be called really soon. I think we maybe spent a bit too long chatting shit. and not really playing that much. Or maybe I did. It might have been my fault. But when there was like 10, 15 minutes remaining, I realised we weren't going to finish the game in time, so I just started doing power challenges and getting renown and then passing. And he didn't see Dracaris, and at the end of the final turn, I won 8-7. And one more turn, he'd have won the game. So that was a bit rubbish for him. I think he deserved the win, but he didn't win. So
fair enough. And then the final.
Yes, against some cutie French guy called Cutie.
Oh goodness! I've looked at his Stark deck. I don't quite understand it.
It's good Stark stuff plus like a copy of the North Remembers, pretty much. There's no resets. Like I was playing around Valor the entire game, and there was no Valor because all I did was draw multiple one-off uniques. Like I didn't draw any dupes. I spent the entire game drawing as many cards as possible to find some dupes before he Valored me, and if I'd have known he wasn't running Valor, I'd have won probably 2 turns earlier by just dumping Renown guys on the board. But I saw a bunch of Renown guys. He didn't really see much. And on the final turn, basically I just pushed in and gained like 4 Renown power and some other stuff. Like it was a little bit of a rubbish ending, I think, for him, because he played really well all weekend and he just sort of fell over in the final.
Well, I think you've got to get there. And obviously, well done, Darren, on winning it. Honestly,
yeah, congrats, man.
Well done.
It's my first good throne, like my first Thrones win above like store championship levels. So.
Just really quickly, one last question. We're going to go into spoilers, which is just here. How important was Last Giants and Lay Siege? Would you drop them from the deck, or were they integral?
Last Giants, I played once all tournament for a Varys, but I needed to. I wouldn't have been able to do the Varys otherwise, so that was... I think it's still relevant. I played it twice. I played against Costas as well to stick some military claim in and draw some cards with the Informant. Right. Lay Siege, basically I used to make the wall and Winterfell fall over. I tried to use it on an Astapor, it got cancelled. But it didn't do anything that I wouldn't have been using Nightmares for. Nightmares would have probably been better other than in the top 4 against Costas. But I still think it's a good card.
Okay. And the Mance Raider do any work?
He's a king. That's a really cool thing when you have Brienne out.
Yeah, that is. Okay, so on to the spoilers, guys. And Ryan, do you want to take the first one, the character?
Sure. So we have Targaryen spoilers from the next chapter pack, which is the one with the Red Viper in, right?
Yes, his revenge.
Yeah.
Yay, Viper.
The first one's a character. It's the next of Daenerys' handmaidens. This is Irri. She's 2 cost, intrigue and power, 2 strength, non-loyal, companion and Dothraki traits. She has bestowed 2, and the action, discard a gold from Irri to choose and stand a lord or lady character, once per phase.
Is she unique?
Yes.
Yes.
She's pretty good.
Yeah?
It's pretty decent, yeah.
She replaces a handmaiden or a crone of Doubtful Frack, whoever you're running. At least.
Crone of Vasterthrak is a bad card, but...
Makes the Dragon Banner a lot better, because the Dragon Banner has been notoriously bad. Yeah, she's non-loyal. Both of these are non-loyal.
Does she stand any lord or lady?
Any lord or lady, yeah.
Yeah, and
that's pretty good.
And she's very good at Breaker of Chains turn. Or...
She's a 2-cost Bicon, which with an upside, so I think that's solid by itself.
She's pretty solid, yeah. Nice solid one of.
And the other thing is it's far easier stand than the Plaza of Pride, which sometimes I'm actually finding I'm quite liking my opponent using it because they're just destroying their hand by standing the characters. Whereas a gold, we all know Targaryens have got almost more gold than Lannisters these days.
I think some people use that Plaza excessively, though.
I think they do. I don't mind quite often when people stand the characters because their hand just gets so small. The banner of the stand gets a lot better because you can take this, you can take the Plaza, you can take Illyrio, you can take Shirikia,
Barristan,
the old handmaidens, Barristan. You've got basically a whole 12 cards now you can take that just stand.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it goes really well with like Barra, Core Stannis, kneel their stuff out, stand all your stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stark.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool.
And we get the event in the last pack where you can top up your bestow cards. It's a decent target to top up as well.
Yes, and that's a pretty good target. And then put another one on Astapor as well to make it 5. Because
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Anything else to say before we move on? I think it's a good card, but it's not exactly a...
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
It's a card that'll just slot into decks as a 1-of probably in most Dragon or Targ decks. So.
It's a good solid 1-of. Okay, I'll take the event. And the event is Overthrow the Master. Maesters. It's 1 gold. And action, during a challenge phase in which you are the... during a challenge in which you are the attacking player, choose a defending character of X strength or lower and remove it from the challenge. X is the number of dead characters in the defending player's dead pile.
Did that remove a defender or an attacker? Sorry.
A defender.
Defender.
Okay.
Yeah, defending character. So, it's just quite good. I'm not sure it's going to see as much play.
I don't see myself putting it in over any of the current Targ events.
There's too many good events already in Targ, yeah. It fits in a with niche challenge control deck, maybe in a banner, like if you're doing Tyrell or Greyjoy, banner to Dragon. You can work well with, obviously, the removal stuff that Greyjoy already have, and the Tyrell have like High Guard and all that sort of stuff, but yeah.
I agree with Matt in the chat here, who basically says this is kind of a Jakaris, and I'd rather have Jakaris because it's more permanent. Because really it is, until you kill... until there's 5 dead characters in the 5 characters dead pile, this base does exactly the same thing. And yeah.
Or worse.
Or worse, yeah. I'd rather have Jakaris and just murder them.
I say is you've got Dracarys, probably Dragons No Slave, maybe Funeral Pyre.
Yeah.
You're probably still looking at rocking things like Nightmares or Lay Siege.
Or Hand Judgment, something like that.
Yeah, the standard unique Targ guy, the Fire and Blood, get dragons back from the dead. Like I don't see how this is better than any of their other
events. I think it could have been free as well. If you look at the Greyjoy event in the core box, does something similar.
Grasp of the Kraken?
Kraken's Grasp. Yeah, that one.
Was that in core?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's in the core box. That was 0 cost, right? This sort of similar effect, really. Yeah. I don't think it needed to be a gold.
Yeah, it's all right, but there's just too many good events, especially at this point. Deck slots are getting really tight, and I just can't see this one making the cut. But obviously the character's really good, and going with the Breaker and Chains combo, I think in the next pack there's another 2 coster, the Free People or something like that it's called. But yeah, we don't quite know what that does yet, but that looks pretty good as well from the little bit I can work out. But cool, there we go, guys. Some spoilers. Removing the mountain would be helpful, though. Yes, Paul, but you'd have to have 10 dead characters to be able to remove the mountain. Maybe only 9 if Danny's in the challenge. Or Danny's, standing.
If I suddenly disappear, my internet looks like it's about to fall over.
That's right. We are done anyway. So, anything to add before we go, guys?
Nope, I guess not. We'll post both these spoilers on Facebook tomorrow or something, I guess. Or whenever the...
24 hours.
24 hours.
Yeah. Make people come watch the video.
Yeah.
Okay, well, then, Darren, thank you very much for coming on. And again...
cheers, Darren.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, really well done, mate.
Congrats again.
I'd like to say we were going to get Darren on beforehand anyway, then, because we were at his local regional, as he's the only Welsh person we know.
That's not... yeah, well, it sort of is.
He basically is.
And
then he won...
Anyone who wants more of me, I'm going to plug me on your show now.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. No, please do.
Anyone who wants more of me, I'm recording Banter late this evening, so you can go watch Banter Behind the Throne. There's no exclusivity here. Yeah, you didn't pay me, so there's no exclusivity deal. So you can all go watch Banter Behind the Throne, listen to Banter Behind the Throne. Also, if you like L5R, I have the best L5R podcast, which is Troll 5R.
Troll 5R, yes. I do need to start getting to these L5R podcasts, but there's just so many.
Just listen to mine then, it's fine.
Okay, we'll do. Well,
yeah.
So yeah, guys. Unfortunately, a few people got a dash, so we are going to cut this short. If you've got any questions, do put them on there. I will note them down. We'll do them on the next podcast. But otherwise, Darren, again, thank you very much for coming on. Ryan, please say thank you to your internet for holding.
I will do.
And as always, guys, it's been emotional.